In this episode, I'm going to go ahead and create a chromatic harmony kind of sequence, in-key chromatic harmony, and then I'm going to spice it up. Now, I do have to say this, I have a chromatic harmony course, which is, I think it's well worth it because there's nearly 150 examples in major and minor using all kinds of chromatic moves in key, royalty free at that. So two ways you could spice this up is with contrapuntal movement or vertical stacking. Thinking in terms of horizontal movement would be contrapuntal. Using non-harmonic tones, suspensions, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to deal mostly with vertical stacks because most people understand that, and it's too hard to go into contrapuntal kind of music right now in just one video. So everybody understands the vertical stack. So let's start. Let's do it 1, half diminished of 2, 5 of 6, 5 of 5, 1. That'll be our progression. This is easy to come up with if you understand chromatic harmony. Hint, hint, my course. I'm just kidding. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to pull up the notation here. We're going to go ahead and start with a C major 7th. Okay, we're just going to add tones to this. Why am I choosing this? Because at half diminished, we could just chromatically to a C sharp if we choose that C major 7th shape like that. You only have to alter one tone. So as I'm resetting this, because when I hit play, it seemed to get out of the screen. Let's go ahead and write this in. So we just got a C sharp, we got a C major 7th, C sharp half diminished. And if you understand chromatic harmony, you realize this could be used as a tonicizer too, just like a secondary dominant. And then we want to go to the 2. Well, let's go to the 2 minor 7th. So we'll go ahead and write this in. Again, I'm writing this in as whole notes with no no time signature and no melody, so you can use it freely as a progression. So we got to make sure to remember that C is now natural. It's just a reminder because we introduced the C sharp in the bass clef. So give me 1 second here. I got to pull up the chord symbol palette here. And okay, there we go. We'll name the chords, and as I'm doing that, this is my harmonic practice for the day. I'm spicing up these chords of this typically secondary functioning kind of sequence. In this particular sequence I chose would be common in, everything from classical music to, 1920s jazz or whatever. So, So instead of the E dominant, which is the 5 of 6, I'm going to use a sharp 9, dominant sharp 9. 5 of 6, you need a sturdy chromatic harmony to understand that. So there's a regular 9, okay? There's a flat 9. So a sharp 9 has to be some form of F, so it has to be an F double sharp to be notationally correct. Just pointing that out. So we're going to do this notationally correct. I mean, you could literally just stick a G in there if you wanted a G natural, but we're trying to stick to the third stack rules here. So, I mean, that's totally up to you what you personally want to do. I'm spelling it correctly because that's my preference. Because for me, that leaves no question as to the intended chord. You'll often see transcriptions with stuff poorly notated, and it actually leads the reader to be more confused when they study it. Like spelling a major chord like A, D flat, E or something. That's just, it's just common sense. So here's what we got. So let's go from there to the 5 of 6. Let's take the 6 and make it an A minor 9. 9, 3rd, 5th. Okay, there we go. That sounds pretty nice. So we'll go ahead and write this in, in whole notes, so it's free to use as a sequence. 1 second here as I pull the notation screen back up. Okay, so A minor 9. Let's just call it that. Or A minor 7th, 9, whatever. We could just call it A minor 9th if we wanted. So instead of the 5 of 5, let's, and then a dominant 5 to 1 and to end it. Let's hold these common tones. And what happens is we do this. We get a D 13th. And holding those same common tones, again, now we get at a G 13th. And then we'll go to a C major 7th, and that E stays constant throughout the whole thing, which is kind of a cool thing you can do. Holding these common tones through the dominant kind of 13th chords, and let's just call them that. Let me write all this out. But what I like about stuff like that is you could keep stuff like this, like that E constantly going, and the C and the B, until you get to the, well, you could have kept that constant all the way through, but my fingers didn't want to work that way. So we're going to leave it as is, because that's what I did, so I'm just going to keep it. So I'm going to put the D up here instead. I think I went downwards when I was playing it, but it doesn't matter. It's still the same root. See, we're keeping these constant notes throughout this. Interestingly enough, you're going to notice this is a circle of fifth movement from E7 to the C. E, A, D, G, C. So as I'm writing these chords in, sorry, this notations program being finicky. Wouldn't put it on the right note. Now that's obviously not a C, it has a C sharp, so. There we go. So again, just stuff like this is fun little tricks you learn over there, is keeping constant or common tones, which results in a really cool thing. You have two dominant 13th chords in a row just by holding those common tones. So I'm going to quickly write in the chord names, and then we'll I wrote in just 13th for the dominant 13ths. So one of the reasons you might want to hold common tones is you might have a melody that's constantly on the E during that sequence, from the A minor to the C. So let's go through our sequence. So this was my harmonic practice for the day, spicing up a typical chromatic harmony passage. And how you use it is up to you. As an ending or something. You know, however, or is it just a plain progression? That's totally up to you. But I'm thinking in terms of vertical stacks. Simplified version. That was spiced up using chromatic harmony. I stuck in a bunch of reminder accidentals. Now I stopped the video and just, the G was sharp at one point, so I made sure you knew it was natural. So I'll go ahead and print this as an image and make it clearer, and you can feel free to use this sequence. So that's my harmonic practice for today, not keyboard practice. People always mistake this for keyboard practice. I'm not interested in that at all. I'm interested in creating harmonic sequences. In this case, spicing up some chromatic harmony with some vertical stack thinking to help keep my harmonic knowledge as a composer in shape. Just like you'd constantly have to, if you're a runner or something, you'd constantly have to go out and run in order to stay in shape as a runner. You stop for a long period, you'll lose it. Again, check out my chromatic harmony course if you get a chance, because I go over a ton of things like this, from basic chords in major and minor to extended chords, and all kinds of different combinations in really super extended sequences. And I made it because I always felt like harmony books always fall short on this. Here's a secondary dominant, and then they show you a Mozart example, and then they move on to the next topic.